After a busy night, just after dawn, I went to check the apparatus and stopped the aerial facing north, still switched on. I heard the sound of approaching aircraft, then the scream of bombs. 2 Focke-Wulf 190s were dive bombing our convoy. They must have followed our radar beam down from the north. I was hit by the bomb blast on one side. 2 men were hurt on the other side, but the trucks were not damaged in any way. With severe stomach pains, Bert, our medic, said I should go to a military hospital somewhere or other. The driver Bert and I drove into town to find out where the hospital was. It is 20 miles away along the coast road and then inland to grass. When we got there, the doctors checked me all over. Nothing was broken, but something internal was causing the excruciating pain. With some medicine and a variety of pills, they put me to bed, and the men in the Bedford truck returned to Saint-Tropez. I had the treatment there for a few days and felt a lot better, ready for work again. Radio inquiries back to my unit said that A.M.E.S 15051 had now left Saint-Tropez and was driving up the Rhone Valley, up to the north. So I'd got a problem. Where were they? I had no money, I had no kit. I decided to exchange a pint of my blood for the hospital use for $10, then decided to hitchhike across France to rejoin my unit. Most of the soldiers in the hospital wore their hospital issue pyjamas and not uniforms, so you couldn't tell what they were or their ranks. I was able to wash and dry my uniform the day before I decided to leave and rejoin my unit. Next day at the office, I found out over the radio that A.M.E.S 15051 was getting close to Valence, not very far from Grenoble, which was on the same road north where we were. So with my American dollars, clean uniform and a bag of rations, I set off. I asked the MPs at the hospital gate to stop American trucks going past to see where they were going. Soon one was found going my way, and we left Grasse to drive along the valley of the Saône towards the French Alps. My driver had to stop near Gap, so he told me of an American Labour unit close to his base, so I decided to call there for the night. Now all sorts of units, all the American units I'd ever met, were always very kind and helpful to me. I got to expect it all the time, and this American Labour unit was no exception. I asked the guard at the gate to take me to his commanding officer, and I heard him say to his pal nearby, "This limey speaks American real good." Inside the officer's tent, I saw the officers sitting around. The CO was busy practicing throwing his knife or a series of knives and axes towards a large target fixed to the tent pole. I told the CO about my job and my problems, and I asked if I could stay the night with them. With no hesitation at all, he said, "Sure buddy, hey Joe, come and look after this guy and take good care of him." Joe was a US sergeant, and he took me to his tent, then on to get some food, and he found a camp bed for me in the sergeant's tent. I expressed my surprise at the knife and the axe throwing. Casually, he told me the CO did it to get respect from his men. Next morning, I thanked the CO for his kindness and got a truck to stop on the road to take me towards Grenoble. The view along the valley was absolutely superb. The French Alps were getting some snow on them now. As we got near to Grenoble, I could see the Alps of Switzerland and also France looming in the distance, so this was my new stopping place for the night. My hospital episode ended with a lengthy hitchhike across France, with bed and breakfast at American military police units on the way to join A.M.E.S 15051 at Frejus, once again on the Riviera. The new radar site was on the banks of a river, a damp, mosquito-infested place liable to flood with the autumn rains. Our billets were in an old French then German huts near to the Grand Mosque by Frejus town, and we had very basic accommodation there. We had orders to move west past Marseille onto a former German gun site overlooking the sea at Cap Couron. As petrol and diesel supplies were getting short, Toddy, our driver from the Goebbels, and I set off in his pet Bedford with a load of empty drums and a sweeping brush to Toulon via the beach at Sante Gulf. Down the slipway to the beach we drove into the sea. He went along into the water to wash and brush the mud off the wheels of his truck. He turned on a narrow beach to clean the other side and drove over a mine buried in the sand. At a terrific explosion, the front wheel and suspension were blown off high into the air. I was blown out of the cab on my side and Toddy was thrown into the sea. With only 3 wheels left, we were stuck. I had to hitchhike back to our unit to get another driver and truck to go to the rescue, and tow our broken Bedford back to the camp for repair. One evening, Benny and I were listening to the BBC over our radio when we heard some American MPs banging on the door. They asked for our help to round up American Army officers who'd gone off with some local girls into the best hotel in Cannes for an evening's entertainment. Apparently, a very large American unit in the area had orders to move north into Normandy. The soldiers were ready to move and the officers had all gone AWOL, absent without leave. As Benny and I were in the Jeep, they gave us American MP helmets, armbands and a gun belt complete with revolvers. This was a repeat of the roundup in Algiers. We entered the hotel, told the receptionist of our intentions and stormed along the corridors upstairs by the bedrooms, yelling and firing our revolvers into the ceiling. The senior officers poured out of the bedrooms half-dressed and startled by the commotion. Their lady friends were most upset at seeing their wealthy patrons running away. Within the hour, all was peaceful again, but with several bullet holes in the posh ceilings left as a reminder of the war.